Hey guys, okay. Am I audible? You guys are able to hear me? Okay. So, today's topic is data unloading. There's one more topic related to data loading called Snowpipe that we will cover tomorrow. So today we'll complete this data unloading. Okay, it's quite a simple topic, and it is something which is opposite of data loading. Guys, please give me a quick confirmation. Am I audible? Okay. Is there a delay in my voice?
No, I don't find any delay.
Okay.
So sorry, I was in another call, so I could not hear what you said.
No problem. But just want to make sure that I'm audible, because sometimes I'm getting a pop-up that internet connection is unstable, something like that. So if you're not able to hear me, just quickly you can tell me. Okay. I will continue
Sure,
talking. Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you, guys. So yeah, let's start with this topic. So similar to data loading, Snowflake supports bulk export of data from database table into flat file or any other delimited text files. Okay, so it is basically the opposite of data loading. We used to first stage files either in the local system or the cloud locations. From there, we used to load it into the Snowflake tables. But we are going to do exactly opposite of that. We are going to export the result of a particular table or a query into uh, into a flat file, and that we can download either to the local file system, or we can also download it to cloud locations like S3 bucket, Azure, and Google buckets. Okay, so we will see two demos, one for local file system and one for downloading on S3 bucket. Okay, so similar to that also, the process of unloading files, how it happens, it is the same, but only there is a little difference. So see, first is obviously your copy. Copy statement will also be applicable in data unloading. The only difference is we first copy into the stage locations from the table. Earlier we used to copy from table, uh, copy into table from the stage locations, right? But now we are going to do opposite. We are going to copy into stage location from the table. Okay, so use the copy into location command to copy the data from Snowflake database file into one or more files in the Snowflake or external stage, and then download the file. So once you have copied the data into the staging area, for local file system, if you remember, first we used to, in the local file system, first we used to put the files from the local file system to the staging area. Okay, so quick question to all of you. In local file system, where we used to stage the files, and which staging we used to use, and what was the command that we used to stage for the files in the local system? Two questions. Which
File
stage?
path.
Yeah, go ahead, Venkat.
File path. It will be having a folder path. There will be staging.
Yeah, so there was one command for staging local files into staging of Snowflake stage. So from SnowSQL, we used to first stage the files, right? So there was one command. I want to know that command. Guys, anybody did the data loading badge house, warehouse batch workshop? Anybody started? Maybe you might have revised that there. Okay, anyway, so there was a put command, right? Using the put command, we used to put or stage the files from local file system to the Snowflake stage, correct? Now,
Yes.
there are two types of stages in Snowflake. For local data loading, which Snowflake stage we used to use? There are two types, right? What are the two types?
Internal and external.
Right, right. So for local file system, we used to use internal stage, correct? So internal stage also has three: user level, table level, and the one that we can create. That is called as named internal stage, the third one. So in local file system, in the first data loading, we used to first put the files, and then using the copy command, we used to copy data into our tables. In data unloading, we are going to do the opposite. We are first going to copy the data of the table into the staging area. That is the internal stage only, either user level, either table level, or either the name stage that we can create. So first copy, and then we are going to download on the local system using the get command. Okay, so put was used in data loading, and get command will be used in data unloading. That is, we are going to export out the data of the tables into some flat files. Okay, so that is the opposite of what we're doing, and we will see how to do that on S3 also after that local file system demo. So the step two is, first was the copy step. The second step is download the file from the stage. That is, for Snowflake, from Snowflake stage, use the get command to download the files in the local system. So it is exactly opposite to what we did in data loading. So see here, this is our database, Snowflake database, right? So first we will copy into internal stage, or in name stage, or from directly from the table stage, or from the user stage. Either of them, either of these three. First we will copy, then we will fire the get command, and we will get the files downloaded in to the path where we specify in the get command, right? So let's open SnowSQL. So I need to go to CMD. Was my connection name? As I'm stopping the share for 1 minute because my passwords and all are written there. Let me just quickly take out my connection name. Config. So you, as you know, it is there in the config file under your users directory. Okay, my connection name is on. I'm just connecting to SnowSQL. So while it connects, guys, my morning batch, right? It has reached to data loading topic. So I guess you guys had first some days back had suggested that you also wanted to join the daily batch. So if you are interested, you can, because now they have come to data loading part. So this week I will be finishing the whole data loading. So both of these batches will be at same topic level. So if you are interested, you can very well join the morning batch, which is 7 to 8 a.m. Daily batch, Monday to Friday. Or if that is not feasible, we can continue as we are doing right now. So up to you guys. Okay, so I have connected it. I have connected it to.
You'll be sharing that link in case if you want to join.
Yeah, Yeah, there's separate Zoom link for that. So I can forward it to you guys. Whoever is, if you guys are interested. I think, I'm not sure about Shiva if that time works for him because it is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. So he's in US. I'm not sure if it works for him. And Arumagam is also there. So not sure if it works for them.
No, that is 9:30.
Mhm.
8:30. There will be a call every day, Scrum call and all back-to-back call will be there till 11 o'clock.
Right. No, no problem. I just thought I will check with you guys in case you want to join. Okay, so I connected to SnowSQL, guys. Okay, what I will do is we have this table called employees basic. So we will export this data out into a flat file at some local location of mine. So let me open those data loading scripts. Load. So obviously I'll have to first create a format based on which my file should be exported. So this format you can give anything, comma separated, type separated, whatever separated you want. Okay, type is CSV, you want to skip header, yes. And compression is gzip and all. So I'm going to create one file, file format. And I'll create it under demo.db only. Okay, I have created it. So this is simple only. This is very simple data unloading. And I will have to stage it somewhere, right? So let me see if I already have a stage created in demo.db. Stages. Okay, so I have an internal stage here. Okay, so this is, as you can see, this is in internal stages schema. And if I edit it, okay, there's nothing. So I will use this. We can use internal stage also, or we can use the table stage also. So as you know, every table in Snowflake has its own staging area, correct? And every user also has its own staging area. So I can either use the table level stage also directly. So the first step is to copy from the table into the stage, correct? Earlier it was opposite. So this is the syntax. So I'm going to see copy into the stage. This is the table level stage. I can use any internal stage here. I can use user stage also. I can use my init stage also, this also, or I can use that table level stage also. Okay. And from whose
We can
data
also
you want?
use Abdul. We can also use S3 external stage, right?
Yes, that is for
Yeah.
the external unloading. So we will come to external unloading after this.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are certain more integration objects and all that. So if you have gone through the record, I think you missed the last to last, I guess. So you saw that integration object and all that I had created, right? For during the data loading from S3 bucket to our tables, Snowflake tables.
Yeah.
I think you had missed that time.
Yeah. Okay, we'll proceed. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, no problem. So others remembers, right? I mean, Venkat and I guess we know
Yes,
that.
Abdul, I remember the medium is to.
Okay. Right, guys. So let me now fire this command. Cool. So see, from the table, it has gone to my stage. It has created a file. So what I can, how do I see the staging contents using list command, right? See, so it has created a file called data underscore 0000 something, right? We can use our customized this thing also, data also. Let me remove this. Remove that. I'll remove that file. Okay, it's removed. So let's see the contents. Right, it's not there. So if you want to have some customized name, okay, by default, Snowflake will create a file with the name called data underscore 000, and it will keep maintaining the version 001, 2 like that. Okay, so if I want, say, EMP underscore details, something like that. So see, it created EMP underscore details underscore 0000 something. Okay, so if I again do it, override option to force unloading, right? So it has basically not allowing the duplicate, but by override option, we can do to overwrite it. Or if I want to say I have another table also, basic employee basic employees. Or let me insert into that, or let me create a table. So basic three, create table B underscore basic three as select. Okay, so data is also gone in that. As you can see, I have 26 rows here in this AMP basic 3. I'll load this table now. Oh, sorry, the name of the table stage will be different here because this is other table, right? And if I list it here, this one. Okay. So let's now let me remove this again, and we will insert or say copy the stage, copy into our name stage also. Sorry, there's nothing here. There is a name stage called my int stage also. This one we will try to copy from there also. So
Abdul, I have one question.
yeah,
See, my int stage, right? It is a name
Yeah.
stage.
yeah,
Can we, if you have the table in the same name, right? For
Huh.
example, you have a table in the name of my int stage, right?
Hmm.
So it will be a clash, right? If you have a tables stage and they use external
no,
named stage, you don't allow to
there,
create, right?
no, there won't be a clash. So I want you to answer that. Why won't there be a clash? Your question is fine. You said, for example, we can have a stage called as EMP Basic 3 also, right?
Yes, yes. The named
So,
stage, not the
right,
user stage, yeah, and table stage.
right. So we'll create one. Sorry, this is, so I'm going to select Snowflake Managed. Next, giving this name. Okay, I'll create it in the public schema. Okay, it created. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So tell me why there won't be a problem. And this question is open to all. Anyone of you can answer it. I mean, of course, I will tell you the answer, but I want you guys to just try.
Can you repeat once?
Yeah. So each table has its own stage, right? Under the internal stage, we have 3 categories: name stage, table stage, and user stage. So each table has its own stage with the same name, EMP Basic 3, right? So Shiva asked, what if I create one name stage using the name which already exists for some table? So what I did was I went and created one stage called EMP Basic 3, which is the same name as my table also, right? This is my table, right? EMP Basic 3. So I created a stage also with the same name. So Shiva is asking how will, when we do the copy into the stage, how will it differentiate, or should not there be an error thrown by Snowflake? So that is his question. So I created one stage, named stage with the same name as that of a table. So my question is same question to Shiva only or to you guys also. Why there won't be a problem?
Yeah, because I'm confused because we are not specifying the stage type, whether it is
Yeah.
internal stage or yeah. So if you have two stage, different name, maybe my question is wrong or what, I don't know. But
No, that is fine. That is fine. Don't worry about it. So that is what anybody else can answer, wants to answer. Okay, I'm keeping this sheet open. See here and tell me if you can get some hint.
file format. Oh, okay.
Paths are different, right? Maybe
Sorry?
this refer the path is different, right? This might refer to some path and
No, I can remove this. That was for customized file name. We can give some customized file name for ourselves. If we don't give this, it will basically create a file name by data underscore something. See if I run this statement, okay, and if I list it, it creates file called data underscore some 000 something. But if I have to give some my own file, customized file, I can give some name here like this. So that was what I was showing. So I can remove that. Yeah. So now you can tell me. Just see this screen and see what do you think. Venkat's connection is little weak, I think. Internet connection. Okay, guys. Anyway, I will tell you the answer. Let's go back some slides. Right. So we have user stage, table stage, and name stage, correct? User stage is always accessed by @tilde. Table stage is always @percentage. And normal stage is, or the name stage is simply @. That's
Yeah,
how
sorry.
it finds out. Okay.
Yeah. I forget that. Yes.
See, this is why I told you see this also. Here it is @ percentage. Here it is simple @. Okay, so I will copy this there. Right. And now I will fire this statement. So this EMP basic 3. If I have to list, I don't need the percentage here. I can remove this. Okay. See, it has copied into this EMP stage, EMP basic 3 stage with data underscore something. If I fire this again, it will say override. But if I want to copy some other table data, so it's not allowing because it already has some data there. Okay. So now we have them in the stages. Actually, this it's because of this it's giving error. Okay, so either of them you can put either in the table stage, user stage, or wherever you want. This is the first step. From now from here, we can, using the get command, we can download this file to our local system. So our get command will not work on Snowflake. Maybe why? Same as put. Okay, it doesn't support. Okay, first let me change this name here. Okay, not supported because this is a OS level command, right? That's why we need some interface tool in between. So which is our SnowSQL. I'll copy this. The local path.
Abdul, in real time, right?
Yeah.
They use some scripting language to invoke SnowSQL command, right? For automation, if you see.
Yeah. Yeah. But this you can write a part of SQL script. I'd shown you, right, like how to run SQL
Yeah,
scripts from
yeah,
Snow.
yeah. SQL script, right, Abdul? But
Huh.
even the SQL script also, no one will go directly the production system, right? So nobody will go and execute our script manually every day, right? There will be some process which will invoke the SQL command, right?
Right.
The
Right.
SQL file, which will have the first step of connecting to Snowflake and whatever put file or get file, whatever the operation that we have specified in the SQL file. So there will be some process that will invoke, right? It will be either through some of the scripting language, right?
Yeah. So that would
Python.
be through Unix. That,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be through Unix or your Jenkins through that. Because by the time Snowflake, we were working on Snowflake, it was not very advanced. Because now slowly these things are getting advanced because earlier there was not much exposure on this technology. So we used to simply write SQL scripts and apply on that, or we used to create procedures and create tasks. So there is something called as tasks in Snowflake, which is responsible for scheduling queries, or which is responsible for scheduling procedures. Okay, so that is what how we used to do. But now if they have from Python, of course, you can invoke. So now how they're doing in the industry, I need to know, check that with my students maybe. But we used to do any releases manually by the time we were working on this. So this path, is it not there? Maybe I think I need to. The local path is not a directory. Okay. It's one extra slash. Okay, so I have downloaded it to my path data set. Here also it got downloaded. I'll just remove it. And this was my path. Okay, so this is how I have from the table data to my file. Here, let's see if we can, yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any filter condition?
Yeah, I was going to tell that only. Let me just remove this stage. Okay. Now let's try some filter condition maybe. So let me see the data quickly. Okay, let's get maybe first name with Althea and Wallace. Okay, and we can filter out like whatever name, whatever columns we want. That also is possible. Okay. So let me just take, maybe let me contact it. And let's have the email. Let me first run this query individually. Invalid identifier. First underscore name. Okay. I think there is a separate function for concatenation. Let's see. Compact. Okay, so it's compact. What's the problem, right? Why is it not?
The concat spelling is correct. Can you check that syntax?
Concat, huh? Yeah, see, concat.
Okay. Normally in SQL, what you'll do now, the first you are given now, that time same like that, plus that double quotes will void actually.
Oh, no, no, no. I have not given from. Okay. So I'll use this. Okay, rows are loaded is 2. Okay. So I gave a filter condition on the query here and fired the copies command. Let me see the file that has got generated in the staging area, data something. Then let's download it. It's downloaded. Close. We just remove this file. Okay, so we can add filter conditions as well, guys, like this. Okay, so same thing we are going to do for uh, downloading the files to S3 bucket also. The only difference is of the staging, nothing else. Copy will be same, copy statement will be same. This from the table will be same, adding filter conditions, doing some transformations, that will also be same. The only thing is the difference of staging area. That's it. We will, instead of internal stage, we will be using external stage. So if I go back to the right, so we were looking at this local system. Now we will do it from the to the up S3 bucket. So simple, we will copy into external stage and then into the bucket, or we can directly also copy from the table to S3 bucket provided. What is the condition, guys? Provided, how do we do this? Without having external stage in between, when will this be able, this possible? Can you please tell me? in S3 bucket, like if we don't want to stage in external stage, but we want to directly load from table, create a file through that, export the data of table into a file, and then directly put it in the S3 bucket. So when is this possible?
Whatever the login details matches in the Snowflake, so that time directly connect the S3 bucket at that time.
No, S3 bucket has to be public. The access on S3 bucket has to be public. That time, you don't need an external stage. Right? Remember, if you look at the recordings, if you just go and look at the recordings, you will see that when the S3 bucket is publicly accessible, that means anybody who has the path of the S3 bucket can access the data, stored in the S3 bucket, either the files or images or any other videos, audios, whatever it is. Okay, so but if it is not public, then you need an external stage in between and other authentication integration objects in between, right? So let's look at that also. So first I will have to log into my AWS and I will use the same bucket, guys, that I had shown you for data loading, because there's no point doing all the configurations again because we already did that, right? So let's go to S3 service. So if you remember, I had created one bucket called as Snowflake Load Demo, and this bucket was given access permissions on the role that I had created in the AWS by through a policy. And then we had also created one integration object, which, so let me describe that integration object. So this was the one S3 underscore integration that we had created. Right. So here we had allowed that these buckets can be accessible. Snowflake load demo, which is this bucket, Snowflake load demo. And then once we created the integration, so this was the role that we created in AWS, right? So if I go back to the AWS and go to the IAM services, and if I go to roles, so if you remember, I had created one role called SF load role here, right? So that was while creating the integration object, we said, okay, we are going to connect to AWS through this role, and we should have access on this bucket. And once we created the integration object in Snowflake, it created two new values. One was the Snowflake AWS user and Snowflake external ID through which authentication will happen. And this is what we, once it was generated here, we went and updated that in the role here under the trust relationships tab. We updated those values here. So this was the one that was generated in the Snowflake once we created the integration object, these two values, this AWS user and external ID, right? So if you see this, these two values, they are same as these ones, the AWS user and the external ID. So these two values, AWS user, IAM user and external ID, they got created when integration object was created. And while creating the integration object, we passed the bucket path and the AWS user, role that we had created in AWS. And on this role, we had given access to this bucket. Okay. So that is how, and this integration object will be attached. We had attached it to a stage, external stage. So if I revisit the diagram of integration object, see, so we have external stage in a normal way that we create, and this is the integration object that I just showed you that we created. Here we passed which S3 bucket is allowed to access, which AWS user, which AWS role needs to be given in the creation of integration object. And then once it was created, it generated two values in Snowflake. One was Snowflake created AWS IAM user and the external ID, which we went and updated in the role of AWS that we had created. And this integration object we had attached to an external stage. How? So there is a stage here. We had created some external stages here. See this S3 integration stage. To this, we had attached the integration object. Okay, that this stage will have authentication gateway as S3 integration object that we had created for authentication between AWS and Snowflake. Okay, so just I refreshed it for you guys. You also go through the recordings that I had explained in, I think, 2 sessions back. So just go through that. If any issue, just ask me. So everything is same. All this configuration is done. Okay, all we are going to do is we are going to upload or download the data from the table to the S3 cloud location, which is Snowflake load demo. So I created one my S3 unload stage. So I'll show you that once again. So see what I did was already I created the file format. Okay. So I created this stage, external stage, and I said it is attached to storage integration, S3 integration. Earlier, there was another way was that we had to pass the AWS secret key and AWS one more key, secret key and I think what public key I guess. So instead of that, exposing that, we created an S3 integration object which is more secure. So we are basically accessing AWS area through a role, okay, and not providing any credentials. So which was a more secure way, right? So to an external stage, we attach a storage integration, which is S3 integration, which I had created long back. And we are telling which particular URL is to be applied to it. So I'll create it again in front of you guys. So the URL is Snowflake load demo. Okay, this staging area is created. So what is created, if you see from the diagram here. So here what we did was basically we created a staging external stage and we attached the integration object that we had created. This one, S3 integration, which we had created. Okay. And how we had created, I have uploaded all the scripts also. If you just for your refresher, maybe I'll just open that and show you quickly like how we had created it. Integration from integration. Okay. So the syntax to create an integration object is this: create storage integration. Create storage integration. Name of your integration. Okay. What type? External stage. Who is the provider? S3. Which AWS role? The one that we create in AWS, and which are the allowed locations for access. Obviously, this bucket, whatever you provide here, will need access permission on that role also. Okay, so these both are AWS configurations. So once we create this integration, it further creates two more values later. That is your AWS, Snowflake created AWS user and external ID, which you go and update in the user, in the trust relationships, not user, sorry, which you go and update in the role uh, in the under the trust relationships tab here. One value here for user and the external ID here. Okay, so simple only. You just need to practice, you will understand more better. So we don't need to create this again. Okay, so now what we have done is we have created an external stage. We have created an external stage and even attached it to a integration object for authentication. Okay, now simple. I will just copy from my table into the stage. Okay, so this is my name of the stage @my S3 something, and I will give one folder also /emp unload, from where it will create a folder on S3, this location, and it will import this data. Okay, so let's see. File already existing. Okay. Let's see. Or maybe I'll give some other name. One. Okay, so that file was already existing. So I gave some new name here. So if we go to the S3 bucket now, Snowflake demo here, load demo. Let's see this one, 853, right? This one. If I open, so it downloaded. So it basically downloaded from Snowflake to S3 location. Okay, and I just downloaded that to my local file system. So simple. This is how you data unload. And similarly, you can add a where condition also. Same. I'll just copy that statement, copy that select statement here also. And I'll have to remove those files first. And I'll show you how to, you can create your folders also. Now, okay, 2 rows uploaded. Yeah, this one. Open. Right. So 2 rows. So you can basically write filtrations and your other transformations also. And if you want to create a folder, here, while creating the stage, you can mention a folder here. For example, EMP underscore unload or EMP files, I'll say. Okay, where you can, although this folder is not existing there, see, if I go there, I'm going to the S3 bucket here, that one. There's no folder like that, right? Maybe let me remove all this. Okay, now my S3 bucket is empty, completely empty. Nothing is there. So what I'll say in my staging, while creating a staging, I have this bucket already. I can mention the folder that I want to create. So let me recreate it. I've recreated the stage. Okay, and now let me uh, run this. So 2 rows uploaded. I go there. Okay. Any idea, guys, why it not came? Okay, took some time. So EMP files, right? This folder, it got created. And under the EMP files, we have these 2 files. I ran the statement twice, right? One was EMP unload and one was data without the name. If you don't give any name, it will take it as data underscore something. So this is how you upload or say download files from Snowflake to your local system and S3 bucket. Same thing you can do on Azure also and Google also. You can upload it, download it from there also. And vice versa is also possible. Okay. So this basically finishes the data unloading part. Okay. This one last thing I wanted to show you before we wrap up. For example, we might run into errors while, okay, before that, any doubts on this data unloading part? Okay, let me delete it. So sometimes, guys, what happens is when we are uploading some files. Yeah.
See, maybe data is something no. We are exporting is something confidential information. Maybe sometimes we get 20 million, 10 million records also.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not able to hear properly. Anybody else facing? Little bit I'm able to hear Venkat, but most of it is getting broken. Do you want to type your question? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. No, Venkat, I'm not able to hear. Guys, others are able to hear me?
Yeah.
Or...
Oh, okay, Abdul. Okay. Now, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. No issues. Okay. Just for no, the export record is something confidential. No, that's just. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
I'm
yes,
just
go ahead.
speaking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You can.
Yeah, I can also hear you.
Abdul.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am also unable to hear.
You're not able to hear Venkat, right? Okay. Do you have security stop of export record?
Venkat, Abdul, your voice is also delayed.
Okay. What about Vinod and Arumugam? Are you able to hear real time or facing delay? I can hear. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Venkat has asked a question. Do you have securities stop of export record? Yes, Venkat. So as you can see that, when
Yeah, I
you,
can hear you, Abdul, now. Can you hear me, my voice? Shiva and Abdul?
yes, I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes. Yes, Venkat, I can.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So I got your question. I saw it on the chat. Okay. So yes, there are ways to restrict. So basically,
Your
firstly,
voice clearly, Abdul. I can hear you.
I think there is a delay in my voice. So just wait for 5 minutes. I think my voice is getting delayed. So I'm just speaking about the question you have asked. So basically, you are saying what is the security stop to create to security stop to stop any export. So there are various ways. Like firstly, on that table, you need to have privilege of select statement and all that. That is the first thing. The second thing is when you create the integration object. Yeah, okay. So when you create the integration object, that time also you have to give only the allowed storage locations where you want to export your file to. If there is any other location you give, it will not allow you to do that. Okay. Yeah. So, and also, so you have to set the privileges accordingly for the users. Okay, and there is something called as data masking also, which you will study in the future classes, where you can restrict the number of rows for particular users, restrict the number of data for particular users. You can mask certain columns, you can hide certain columns from there which they are not supposed to export out. All that is also possible through data masking and column level masking, row level policy masking. Through that also you can do that. Okay, so there are various ways at which you can have your security in place. Mm, okay, guys. Okay, let me also reconnect. Just a minute. Guys, let me reconnect once. Guys, am I audible now? Am I audible now, guys?